Following up with the previous video, we'll be looking at the chemical mediators of inflammation. So the various groups of chemical mediators of inflammation are your vasoactive amines, your kinin system, your arachidonic products, your complement cascade, and your cytokines. I'll be explaining each one of these in detail. So first of all, about the vasoactive amines, the most important of them will be your histamine and your serotonin. Your histamine is produced by your basophils, your mast cells, and your platelets. The main action is going to cause is vasodilation and increased vascular permeability. So how it is going to do that is it triggers for release, uh, and it comes into action immediately in your Ig mediated mast cell reaction, your physical injury, and your anaphylaxis, and your cytokines. All these are your different ways and different ways in which your histamine is going to be activated for causing vasodilation and vascular permeability, which allows neutrophils to enter into that injured area and start acting on the injured cells. So the other important one is your serotonin. Serotonin is produced by platelets, and it also causes vasodilation and vascular permeability. Serotonin has multiple, it is interlinked with your CNS, your vascular system, and it also causes vasoconstriction in other contexts. But when it comes to inflammation, it's going to, the main action we are going to need to know about it is your vasodilation. So histamine and serotonin are your two vasoactive amines which you need to know about, which will help in on the during the process of inflammation. The next one is going to be your kinin system, especially bradykinin. So this is the process of synthesis of bradykinin. It's formed from precalcrin when in the presence of factor 12 is converted into kallikrein. So kallikrein is a cofactor which helps in conversion of high molecular weight kininogen to bradykinin. So what does bradykinin do? Again, it helps to increase the vascular permeability and vasodilation, bronchoconstriction, and also pain. So it helps in doing all of these, and it helps in transmission of pain as well. So that's very important. So you need to know. And then moving on to the next important one is your arachidonic acid products. So your arachidonic acid process, this will be the process. So you have phospholipids in your cell membrane, right? So that is broken down into arachidonic acid by the enzyme phospholipase. And if you remember, phospholipase is present in the neutrophils uh, in the primary acidophilic granules. So phospholipase A2 will break down into arachidonic acid. Now this arachidonic acid can be converted into two different or many products based on the two different enzymes which act on it. One will be your LOX, one will be your COX, or your cyclooxygenase and your lipoxygenase. So that's written right here. So your cyclooxygenase is going to lead to formation of thromboxane and prostaglandins. The LOX pathway is going to lead to formation of leukotrienes. So I've written only the most important function of one of these examples. There are about 5 different prostaglandins which will have different effects in different locations, but generally we are talking about inflammation here, and I don't want to go into details of each and every prostaglandin, thromboxane, and leukotriene. So I'm just going to mention the important works of most of them. So thromboxane A2 helps in thrombus formation or clot formation. Prostacyclin or PGI2 is going to help us in uh, decrease clot formation and thinning of blood. Your prostaglandin E2 is a potent vasodilator. Your leukotriene B4 is a neutrophil chemotaxis, which means it's going to attract more neutrophils to that place. Your leukotriene C4, D4, E4 are going to cause vasoconstriction. They also cause bronchoconstriction. So those are important. Like it'll come back in pharmacology a lot. This arachidonic pathway will come back in pharmacology a lot. So, and moving on, your complement cascade is like your bacterial detection system and emergency response system, which is triggered the presence of any bacterial products or any unknown things in our body. So the four most important complement You need to know are your C5, C3, so C5b, C3a, C5a and C3b. The specific function of this is a formation of membrane attack complex. Now this membrane attack complex is nothing but will tag the unknown or the foreign body uh, present within our body in the tissue, and it'll just mark that being ready for the action of neutrophils and macrophages. So that would be your membrane attack complex. Your C3A and your C5A are helpful in the releasing of histamine. Your C5A is a leukocyte or neutrophil chemotatic factor is going to bring in more neutrophils, and your C3B is your opsonin, which will which will help neutrophils identify that this is the foreign body present in our body. And the last group are your cytokines. These are released by cells as a response that they are undergoing injury, things like that. Examples are your interleukins and TNF. So what do they do? They cause fever or increase temperature and other acute phase reactions. They enhance adhesion molecules, cell adhesion molecules. They stimulate or activate fibroblasts, endothelial cells, and neutrophils. Important thing you need to know is interleukin 8 is a very important chemokine. So that would be your most important chemical mediators. If you can see there are around 5 groups of different mediators which take care of different parts of inflammation, but all of those are going to work in sync with each other and in a different way at different parts of a body, and that's the whole idea of pathology in itself. So if you understand how each one of these uh, acts on different parts of the body, you would know the disease process of about 80% of all the diseases. You might not know the name of the disease, but you will know how exactly that disease proceeds and how exactly that cell is going to get injured and all those things under your belt. So the last small bit we have remaining is the outcomes of inflammation. So due to inflammation, there can be complete resolution or that with regeneration or with scarring. So regeneration where it's like back to normal with zero damage. Complete resolution with scarring is there might be some kind of fibrosis or a part of the tissue there's going to be some amount of damage. Now these two are okay and normal and they are not that problematic. The best thing would be your resolution with regeneration followed by your resolution with scarring. If acute inflammation is not able to do the job, there's going to be a abscess formation or it may follow on to become a chronic inflammation, both of which are very dangerous and which denote that the disease is not under control and is going to need further help. So for the big cells like your T cells, your lymphocytes, your antibodies, all those things are going to come and attack these injured cells and take care of our body and ensure so far we saw was the first response like your police and all petty things they will take care of all that, and it's like a district level. Now when you go to chronic inflammation abscess and all, it's like you are invoking our someone's invading our country and our country needs to respond with its best defenses, its best armies, tanks, and bombs, and all of those things. Those things are more interesting, and that basically would be your chronic inflammation. And it's very detailed and superb how our body deals with all of these things. I'll cover that in the next video. So, thank you. Please do comment if you don't understand any parts or you want further clarity in any of these topics. And please do subscribe and share these videos as much as possible.